Started. I was an assistant for Coach Salinas, Hector Salinas, for 1 year, and then he took off to sophomores, and I became the head coach at Moody High School.
So what have you been doing these days in baseball? I know you're still active in the game.
I just help some kids get scholarships here and there, and then watch one of my ex-ball players who is a catcher for the Texas Rangers, Jose Trevino.
And what's he up to these days? With all the question marks out there in Major League Baseball, it doesn't mean they don't stay in shape, right?
No, he's working every day. Matter of fact, he calls me up at about 5:30 in the morning, and he says, "Oh well, are you awake?" I says, "Yeah. You fly with the owls at night. You better be able to soar with the eagles in the morning." So
He's up working hard.
yes.
Talk about what it takes for players. You've been through coaching enough. You've seen players succeed at high levels, the highest level in this case in baseball. Talk about the preparation and what needs to happen. These high school kids that have these aspirations to want to be a college player and eventually a major league player. So talk about what they need to do.
Well, they need to first of all is dedicate themselves for. We have priorities at Moody High School as God's number one, two is number family, three is education, four is baseball. And if you keep those in order, then you'll succeed.
And talk about how you've seen the program grow and baseball grow in this area. It truly is a powerhouse area as far as Corpus Christi, bringing out the talent in baseball.
Well, that had to do with Coach Salinas. Matter of fact, one of your other guys another coach is going to talk to you here. We started taking players out of state so they could get recognized, and we started getting questions from schools from out of state, and we were sponsored by George Taylor, and we went to Euclid, Ohio, for World Series twice, and just to get these kids out of state so they could be noticed because scouts weren't coming down here at that time.
Now they are, though.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they are, because me and Coach Salinas took players out of the state, and it says, hey, wait a minute, we need to start getting down there and go to Corpus and watch these kids at Corpus because there's a lot of talent in Corpus.
So you recognize the fact that you needed to get players in front of exposure one way or another, and they weren't coming here, so let's go to them. Now it seems like that's the decision parents are making is do I keep my kid local and do I keep them playing throughout the summer on the local competition, or do I get on these travel teams that extend beyond this region, beyond the state of Texas? So it's a true decision for parents as they get their kids ready.
Yeah, well, the way it's set up now is that if you don't go out of Corpus. Well, the scouts are still coming to Corpus, but you get recognized when you go to Florida, you go to Atlanta, and places like that to play where there's tons of scouts.
I also talked to some coaches last week that they benefit from that because the high school coaches, when they get to the playoffs, suddenly, their players are saying, I played that pitcher already. I've faced that girl or that guy, and so that helps too.
Yeah, and the other thing is, some of these kids that travel, their parents put up a lot of money in the first place. Because I remember coaching one team for Team Sirius out of New York, and we were in Atlanta, and I asked the kid, how much is it costing you? And he says, well, it's costing me $3,000. Does that include room? And I said, no, that's just the entry fee. I said, wow. So, people are making money out of baseball.
Yeah, and they're helping these kids get there. But,
yeah
they are making money off of it. So talk about the biggest change. You say that you could see from 79 when you started this to now, the biggest change.
The players are stronger, faster. People are throwing 95 miles an hour. It's, got a couple of players at Sinton that scouts are looking at. Some scouts have called. And they says, where do I need to go to watch? And I says, well, the first place you need to stop is at Sinton. Sinton's got some good quality players that could be drafted.
Bigger, faster, stronger, and pitchers are throwing harder.
Yeah.
Talk about one last thing, one last question. We were talking off the air about the transition that baseball has made, and that the specialty pitcher used to be you had a starter that would go extended innings, and then you would get a designed setup man and then a closer. So three quality pitchers were the traditional rule. going through the 80s. And then suddenly now you're looking at specialty pitchers from the opening pitch through the end of the game. So talk about how that affects pitchers as they try to prepare themselves for the next level.
Back when I was coaching this, and we had one starter that probably went the whole game. Now with limited pitches, some of these pitchers just go 5 innings and then they're pulled out because they max out their pitches, and then they got a closer, and then they got a special reliever to get 1 or 2 players out, and then the game has changed because back when we played, I always had a Tuesday pitcher, and he pitched almost every game, or the whole game. Had a Friday pitcher, and he pitched the whole game. And then if we played on a Saturday, then we pitched the other pitchers to get ready for the playoffs.
If you saw that you were going to have to make a pitching change, there was trouble brewing back then when you were the head coach. Nowadays, it's a situational, and again, advantage coaches, advantage pitchers. Where do you think the advantage lies when you have to now bring in 4, 5, 6 arms to complete a game?
Well, it's advantage pitchers because some coaches are asking the players to take at least 1 strike so the pitcher can build up his pitch count. But you also get in trouble because some of the good hitters, might let that 1 pitch that he could hit, and he takes it because the coach tells him, "Hey, take a strike so we can get the pitcher to get his, get the pitch count up."
I literally see coaches in the dugout with that counter, and they're keeping track just as well as anyone else.
Yeah, and to me, I've always was, hey, you like the ball, if it's a ball you can hit it. I don't care what pitch it is.
My coach has always told me you have a bat in your hand for a reason. Please use it.
Yeah, because I've talked to kids and says the coach tells me to take a strike. He says, well, then you got to do what the coach tells you to do. So.
Yep. Well, Coach Castillo, thanks for the visit, and we'll talk to you again.
Thank you.
Coach Castillo, we'll be back with more after this.
We are the Clinton High School cheerleaders, and you're watching Rio Sports Live. Woo!
If you want to get in the game, come to Miras Sports and more. Basketball gloves and uniforms too, customized for you. Your family tradition, from generation to generation. From Pee Wee to the MLBs, you can count on us. Your hometown sporting goods store since '76. Miras Sports and more, where kids get cool stuff.
Uniforms, etc., you're gonna find the opportunity to purchase the best high-quality scrubs. Soon after I learned about how the EDC was helping out the community, and so I did meet with Ms. Castillo. She made it very easy, very friendly, and she walked me every step of the way. I couldn't have done it without their help.
Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever.
We are the Roy Taylor High School cheerleaders, and you're watching Real Sports Live.
Plan your escape. Beach, bay, or both. Sunrises and sunsets daily. Memories made all day. Live music and great food round out your visit. So why wait? SoPadre.com.
Back here at Miras Sports and More on a Wednesday afternoon. Joe Bowling with you now, joined by Gene Casper. And fans at Sinton will know that name. If you don't, if you know the Hooks, listen on the radio during their broadcast, you'll hear his voice there. Now you get to put a voice to a name if you haven't done so already. Thanks for the visit. How you doing this day? And what's up in baseball in this part of the world on your end of the world?
Well, I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me. We're looking forward to this spring and the minor league season. It won't be affected by the lockout, so we do plan to start on April 8th is the home opener here. So that's going, and of course this early in the year, a lot of high school ball games at Whataburger Field, and of course I'm quite interested in maintaining my connection with Sinton, so I've seen those guys play some. And so I've seen some high school baseball and a little bit of college baseball, and we're looking forward to the minor league season.
Let's drill into that because in days past and lockouts from past, major league players would take advantage of, if the minor leagues are still playing, and they're a tweener, they're going to be back and forth, they slide down, and ball clubs would slide players down. Is that still going on, or is that something that is kind of out of the mix now?
No, that can't happen now. Anyone on the 40-man roster is part of the union,
Right.
the Major League Baseball Players Association, and so they are all locked out. So, in fact, what is going to occur, we would imagine, we are still guessing because we're still hoping for an agreement, but what will probably occur is, because 40 men on each team will be locked out, some of those would have been at AAA. Okay. So some of the players at AA are going to be shifted up to AAA. Some of the Class A players and rookie ball players may end up starting at AA. So the product we get at the beginning of the season might be some younger guys than we usually get. Could be interesting to see some of the really young talent until the agreement is reached, and then everybody kind of trickles back down to where they belong.
And anytime you start transitioning guys up the levels or down the levels, it opens up playing time, it opens up opportunities, and it gets guys where they want to be, and that's in front of eyes.
Oh, it absolutely does. Guys that are going to be at AA and AAA that would normally be down a notch are going to be seen by different eyes and are going to get a little bit of a different picture. Of course, they're all the minor leaguers right now are in camp, so they're already doing spring training with their respective ball clubs, and so they're getting seen then. But real live games, they'll be facing a little different competition, and if you're a young guy, here's your chance to show something.
Well, and it also does another thing. It gets those reps going, and that if the lockout extends beyond the season into a couple of weeks, into a month or so, suddenly major league managers are looking at, well, how long are we going to have to prepare for the season? I've got guys that are getting reps. I can move them up for a few weeks at least until everyone gets in the mix.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things all shake out. Hopefully this is going to get there is going to be an agreement made in the next few days, and we don't miss too many games. Hopefully, I know Major League Baseball has said they're not going to make up games. They're not going to pay players for the games that they've canceled, but that's always negotiable, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Talk about the ball club and the growth and just like 5 years ago to now. And what the Hooks mean to this community.
Well, I think the Hooks are one of the most special things that have happened to Corpus Christi in a long time. Came in about, I guess now, maybe 16, 17 years ago. Nolan Ryan and his group, Ryan Sanders Baseball, came here and really put a product on the field. Won the Texas League early. We haven't won it since. And saw some great players come through here and had some really good teams, but it seems like what has happened here is the really good players and the really good Hooks teams have been in the first half of the season, and then all of a sudden the Correas and guys like that get moved, and in the second half of the season you don't have the quality you did in the first half. When you get into the postseason, the Hooks just haven't been able to quite get over the top and win another league championship. But it just is a wonderful opportunity for families to come out. It's affordable baseball. It's a lot of fun every night at the ballpark, and we just love having people come, and it's just a whole lot of fun.
You've got avid fans that have been there from day one that are still attending games, and that grows.
Oh, absolutely. We have a lot of folks that have been season ticket holders from the beginning, and at the end of the year, we always have a handful, a dozen or more usually, that we will recognize at the end of the season that have actually not missed a single game the whole year. So we have folks that are sitting in their seats every game throughout the entire season. They're that dedicated to baseball.
Time to give a little prep here, a little props. If fans are wanting to listen to the games, anytime I bring another personality on, I give them a chance to plug where they're at and where fans can tune in.
Yeah, we're on News Radio 1440 KEYS, and usually, the league set. Well, no, we set the times. I think this year we're going to be starting at 6:35 with the ball games, so that would give us about a 6:15 start on the air. But times change and are different too, weekends, weeknights, and stuff like that. But yeah, tune in.
Good stuff. All right, thanks for the visit.
Absolutely, love it. Thanks for having me.
We'll listen to you soon.
Okay.
Back with more after this from Miras Sports and More.
The Brownsville Independent School District continues to provide a safe environment for enriching education. From pre-K-3 to early college high school, the award-winning district has advanced its legacy in curriculum, athletics, and fine arts. Teachers are driving the frontier of technology, bringing industry to the classroom. On and off the field, Brownsville ISD students engage in the experiences that make them college and career ready. Brownsville Independent School District, the best choice.
The most important moments in a child's life happen in their earliest years. Having a strong early childhood education enhances their future and success. That's why we are opening the Harlingen CISD Early Childhood Academy for pre-K students. At HCISD, we provide these opportunities for our youngest learners to foster their imagination and let their curiosity run while they develop their love for learning. These are the early steps to success, and Harlingen CISD is with them every step of the way.
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. A district dedicated to preparing our youth for the future. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower all students to reach their full potential and become leaders of the highest moral character. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
If you wanna get in the game, come to Miras Sports and More. Basketball gloves and uniforms too, customized for you. Your family tradition, from generation to generation. From Pee Wee to the MLBs, you can count on us. Your hometown sporting goods store since '76. Miras Sports and More, where kids get cool stuff.
Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles, located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, is filled with vintage items, collectibles, and a selection of vinyl records that's as good as it gets. Every shelf, every aisle, and table is filled daily by a number of vendors that ensures that something here just might be the item you have to have. The vinyl record area helps bring an added atmosphere that makes for a fun trip when stepping back in time with the memories. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles in San
Welcome back to Miras here at Corpus Christi, Texas. Kevin Aro, just a correction on the radio station. It was 1360 KEYS to catch the Hooks broadcast. Now we're joined by Corky Gallegos. Coach, thanks for joining us here this afternoon. And baseball, softball, you've intertwined the two. You're currently on the softball coaching staff over with the Islanders. But first, you were baptized into the world of baseball at Moody. So talk about that. You're starting your baseball journey up over at Moody.
Yeah, growing up, grew up in a baseball family with the Gallegos. My father and my grandfather were big time into baseball, and so I grew up learning a lot really fast. And naturally, if you're from Corpus, especially back in the day, you grew up as a young kid watching the Moody Trojans, and that was the dream, is to be a Moody Trojan baseball player. And, I fulfilled the dream of getting there to play in high school, and I played for Steve Castillo and also for Hector Salinas. And, it was everything that I dreamt and then some as I joined, in the future, later years as a coach, which was another goal and dream of mine, to coach for the Moody Trojans.
What years, more or less, did you play at Moody?
I played 87 through 89, and I was the head coach from 2001 to 2012.
Okay. All right, so you won state what, in 07?
We won it in 2004, the 5A title, and then 07 a 4A title.
Okay, so that's ironic because you're the Miras 07 banners up there when you guys won it. I graduated in 2010 from Edinburgh North, and I played on a traveling team called the Predators with Coach Ford, Henry Ford. I don't know if you're.
I know, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I played on a traveling team with him, and we were up here in Corpus, and I was a lefty, but by no means I wasn't really much of a pitcher. But they tried me out because it was a curve, 12-6, changeup, and a fastball, but it wasn't all that. But Coach Ford insisted that I learn how to pitch. And we were up here at a tournament, and he always called me a little lefty. Hey, little lefty, I need a couple innings out of you. And I said, Coach, I was like, maybe. I mean, what do you need? And he's like, just give me a couple innings, get me over, and get our guys some rest. I was like, well, who are we playing, Coach? And he goes, we're playing Moody. I was like, really? I was like, the team this is that Euro 07. I was like, really? I was like, Coach, aren't they supposed to go to state, or didn't they win state? He's like, yeah, but it's fine. You do all right. So I was like. So I was telling Joe, like, my one claim to fame was that I actually pitched against against that Moody team. So definitely a lot of rich tradition. But transitioning from baseball over to softball, we're seeing a lot of coaches make that transition. I know the coach down in Harlingen, ironically enough, last night he was a baseball coach at Lyford, jumping into softball this year. Never coached softball before, but made that change. How big is that change?
Well, for me, the transition was not as drastic, being that my younger sister Marina, who's head softball coach at London now, I grew up coaching her when I was young, and so I got to see her play, in the game itself and the speed of it and the alignment differences and whatnot. Of course, the pitching is so much different. But so, I already had, a seed planted as far as the softball. If I'd have gone just straight from baseball to this, it would just blown my mind, because the game of softball is so fast and so different. I always wonder, why do they call it softball? Because there is nothing soft about it, including
Right.
the players that we coach.
Right. And, and especially in this area, we've seen, Cal Allen, they became the first Coastal Bend team to make it to the state tournament. And then, of course, you've seen SGA win the whole thing these past couple of years. Cal Allen went twice in the last 3 years. Who knows what would have happened in 2020. Last year at Carroll, you saw Vanessa Quiroga, who's up at UT, Riri Avalos, and then you had Corpus Christi Ray, who made the playoffs for the first time, 24 years, more or less.
Yes.
They have their shortstop, what's her, Leah Crane.
Leah Crane.
Leah Crane, she's supposed to go to Baylor.
I was able to coach Vanessa Quiroga and Leah Crane when I opened up a baseball academy. My sister and I, we got to train them since they were young pups, so they came out of our stable. Yes.
Yeah, and so we're just seeing softball really take off. Not only down in the valley where we're from, but up here in the Coastal Bend, and just so many names that you can just go down the list. And you look at that Waterburger preseason list, and it's like, oh, she's good, she's really good, she's good, and Bree Ford at Cal Allen, Reagan Tennell. So just talk about how much the game has evolved, really, coach, these last 5 years, and now we're seeing a lot of girls play college ball.
I mean, the game of softball has always been there. Fast pitch softball, even with men's. Steve Castillo, who was here, and Hector Salinas, they used to play fast pitch softball in men's league. But, my sister, she, like I said, when she played in high school, they didn't have it in high school.
Right.
And she went on and played in college. And so, you could imagine scouting and recruiting was not even in this area back then, because they didn't have it in high school. So it's come a long ways. Down here, we have such a great pool of talent. You mentioned Tennell she came out of that academy that we had also. But it's such a rich pool of talent down here, and I'm glad to be a part of it now at the university level. And got my daughter growing up, so I'd had her doing select ball. She's a freshman now at London, so I've got a little, I'm getting a little experience in database of experience of fast pitch softball.
What travel team does she play on?
She plays with what is it?
Crush?
No, it's a local team that
so
she
many of
played with. Yeah, being that we were Bombers, and I get confused with all the names.
That's cool. So talking about the college level, and now you're there with the Islanders, a part of that coaching staff. How long have you been doing that?
I started this summer. The head coach took off to another university. She went to OU, and Orlando Salinas was asked to go in and help them as they were in limbo there with an interim coach. And Orlando reached out to me, and we've been doing it ever since. So it's probably like late August is when we started, and then we hired in a new head coach, Kathy Rodriguez, who's an awesome coach. And at that point, we just kind of thought that we were holding it down while there was a coaching change. But she offers us a position, and we've been going fast and furious since.
And it's ironic because about 2 weeks ago, you guys were up at College Station,
yes,
more or less.
Yes,
so
sir.
I caught that game. Jackie Garza's there from SG. I saw
Yes,
she got a
yeah.
pinch hit, and then of course Monet, who's from Edinburgh, who I covered from
Yes.
Edinburgh Vela. So a couple of Valley ties. That's why I'm interested. So I'm just tuning in, and
Yes.
it's really cool to see these girls play. You know, you see them in high school, and then they go up and play at the college level. And I know Adi Signs from PSJ North. She just signed on to go pitch for you guys.
Yeah, she committed. Yeah, Jackie Garza, comes from a really good program, and she's been making some really good adjustments. And being a freshman is not easy, at the Division I level, because you're coming in as a freshman all over again to a really experienced and hand-picked players. So she's done an awesome job. She works really hard, and Monet has been nothing short of amazing, at the plate, particularly.
She's built different, ain't she?
She really is. We always say, like, I'd hate to have to run into her with some football pads on, because she is a beast.
Yep. Yeah, she definitely comes from good stock, and I mean, she looks a lot like Stanton, and I would tell her
Right.
the way she bats and how much power she has, and I think that was her biggest deal when she was at Edinburgh Vela. But she was definitely a big name. And then Adi, PSJ North right now, if they're not the number 1 team, they're number 2 between them and Los Fresnos, maybe Westlaco. But PSJ North is having a heck of a year. And Adi, just the way the ball is popping out of her hand this year. And how did you guys, recruit her? What was that recruiting process like?
Well, I mean, like, I guess from the standpoint that I could discuss it, we have camps there at the university, and she showed up to the camp, her and some other players, and she just really stole the show. She pitched really well. The ball, like you said, really jumping out of her hands, and velocity-wise, and she just has a real rare arm movement that creates a lot of movement, late movement in life with the pitch. But we had Dominique Salinas, who's Orlando Salinas' daughter, that played at Duke.
Okay.
And she was with us at the camp, and believe this, she said the camp was the most talented camp that she'd ever worked, and she'd worked plenty of them, at Duke. So that says a lot about the area talent, down here. And weather is so important to being able to have that talent, because you look at like countries like the Dominican Republic, you see Puerto Rico and the Latin countries over there, that they have such good weather for baseball that they're taking over Major League Baseball nowadays. And I'd like to think that down in this area, we have a lot of the same type of weather that permits plenty of softball playing and baseball playing. So the talent down here is really rich because of their database of experience.
Yeah, Alice was actually down at the Sherryland tournament this past weekend. I went by just to watch Ava Hernandez pitch.
Yeah.
And I had told one of my coaching buddies, I said, hey, she's a true 63, 65. She goes, what? I said, yeah. And she's just a junior this year. So, her being so young, and, last year as a sophomore, she really stole the show down in Alice. So, we're talking Alice, Cal Allen, you had Carol, and CC Vets, Maddie Aguilar. She's a sophomore this year.
It's another one that came out of our stable with the facility that we
What about
had.
Alyssa Burge?
Alyssa Burge is a little younger. She plays my daughter plays with Alyssa, and she's very amazing from day one. It's crazy how you could see it, the God-given talent very young, and
Sophomore.
you know which ones are going to go on to the next level real young.
Yeah, Alyssa Burge is easily one of my favorite players. I know last year when we covered them at the tournament at CC Vets, she just, like you said, stole the show.
Yeah.
I think she even hit the walk-off. I think it was against Cal Allen or SGA. She hit a walk-off somewhere in there. And then this year at the Cal Allen tournament, she just made so many plays.
She's amazing, to say the least.
Just a sophomore. A lot of talent in the Coastal Bend and the RGV. Coach Corky Gallegos, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Anybody you want to say hi to or shout-outs?
I'd say hello to my dad and my family. Thank you very much for introducing me to this game that I still love.
All right, Coach Gallegos. More coaches when we come back from Miras.
when excellence in academics meets discovery on the court, in the arts, with institutions of higher education and beyond. We are the future leaders, and our success starts now. La Villa ISD, Cardinal Pride.
LEAD has relationships with multiple industry leaders. Whether you're looking for project-based work or long-term employment, you decide. Our industry-skilled jobs include industrial, marine industries, oil and gas, commercial construction, and renewable energy. We offer work close to home, so you can spend more time with those you love. LEAD Staffing, putting people to work and changing lives daily.
If you want to get in the game, come to Miras Sports and more. Basketball gloves and uniforms too, customized for you. Your family tradition, from generation to generation. From Pee Wee to the MLBs, you can count on us. Your hometown sporting goods store since '76. Miras Sports and more, where kids get cool stuff.
Plan your escape. Beach, bay, or both. Sunrises and sunsets daily. Memories made all day. Live music and great food round out your visit.